let's get to your market update. Ethereum strikes back, right? Why can Ethereum come back, and how much can it? But first, don't forget, folks, like and subscribe, turn on alerts. The more you help us, the more we can help you. If we get up to 800 likes today, we're going to be doing altcoin overtime. So hit that button. And now let's continue. Rectember. So far, that's working out in terms of keeping our clients, particularly on Token Metrics TV, out of the way of all this choppy corrective activity. Even last night, I was like, wow, this thing's going to take off. And then the whole market dumps. Equities, QQQ, right, looks kind of weak, right? There's always that seasonal slump in the stock market. And a lot of the new highs made in stocks aren't really confirmed by momentum indicators. So when it comes to September, I'm not as worried as I was, but that doesn't mean the world is perfect. All right, now let's switch over to Bitcoin. I think the net is 40K is a big level in Bitcoin. So if there was a wick down, buyers would be there. Okay, now for Ethereum, we're going to have some now and some later. We're going to have the case for Ethereum to come back, to strike back as the dominant layer one. So please hit that like button and stay tuned for that later in the show. Now, in the meantime, the big question is, where's the bottom in ETH? Is it 3,200? Because that's kind of been the recent range. Is it 3,000? Because that's where the wick down came from. Or is it 2,500? I think what's going on in ETH is that people may have gotten trapped FOMOing into ETH-based NFTs, and they can't get out. They're worried, and so as a result of that worry, they're shorting ETH to try and hedge their NFTs. And I also think some of this really lousy price action has been people borrowing money, borrowing ETH to FOMO into NFTs. So if ETH continues to have these choppy down days, it may just be this like liquidation, rolling panic selling process. But we don't think it's the end of the world. You know, if ETH somehow got to 2,500, that would be a holiday treat, right? But we don't think it goes that low at the moment. Now, Solana, oh my God. We rode Solana based on what our AI was saying. I don't know, Forrest, I don't know if you've looked at this. We had resistance at 200. And the big question is, not putting you on the spot, but just I'm saying holistically, do you grab Solana in 150? Do you hold out for 125 or is it over?
Yeah. So to be honest, my targets for Solana, right? My targets for Solana are actually really similar. It's funny. You just had 149 and 201 to like 150 to 200 as support and resistance there. My take profit targets for Solana has been this zone, right? Maybe scaling a little bit out at 150. Yeah, we did blow straight through 150 once we had resistance there, right? But, taking 5%, 10% out at 150, maybe taking another 5% off the table at 175, taking some off the table at 200, and then we wicked up to 220. If you sold at 200, you're probably fine. If you've reduced your Solana position, assuming you bought somewhere between $20 and $40 Solana, right? If you've reduced your Solana position in this $150 to $200 range by 20, 25%, guess what? You've paid back, you've taken out your initial investment from this $20 to $40 range easily, right? And now you're free rolling with a nice bag of Solana. And you're at very low risk if this market decides to take a turn for the worse. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, Solana's the future. No, why would I ever sell my Solana between 150 and 200? It's going to 400. It's going to 350. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. But maybe it does what Theta did after Theta became a top 10 coin and trickles down to the trend line, right? Trickles back down to $100. Would that mean Solana is a failure? Absolutely not. What it would mean is that after a parabolic run up, it's just cooling down and moving sideways. Now, maybe Solana does go to $400. Maybe it goes to 500. Maybe it goes to 600. In which case, if you had taken 25% of your position out, you still have 75% to free roll with essentially zero risk because you took out your initial investment up to those higher moonshot levels, right? But if we do go down to $100, you've already taken out your initial investment, and then you can rebuy when we get back down to this trend line. Bill, you know I love buying on the trend line.
Right. And I know that Forrest is a big advocate of patience, which is really hard in Solana because you've really had to buy every dip on the way up to stay with the trend, which is one of the reasons why, as Forrest so eloquently put it, if you've taken profits, if there's a washout in Solana to either 125 or 100, right? Because remember, this had a mind of its own going up. It can have a mind of its own coming down. So you don't want to buy it too soon and then have it drop and you're selling it where you're supposed to be buying it. Bottom line is I'm hoping for Solana at 125 to get that better entry point. It's hard, but the best trades are the toughest trades. Now, Cardano, God Almighty, they want to buy this on every dip, and God bless them, right? 235, 237, a Gann line. It's like the whole world's got this Gann chart. They just buy it every time it goes down there. You know, it can trade between there and 3. It can go to 3.5. Now, I think the big idea with Cardano is where Cardano is on the market cap chart. Okay. Now, I'm showing, according to CoinMarketCap, that Cardano has a market value of $77 billion. Okay. That is twice the value of Polkadot. Polkadot is Web3. You know, Solana is there at 48. And I'm wondering if either Solana has to correct and catch up with Polkadot, or Polkadot has to jump up there as well. Now, one other thing to note about Solana is that in the NFT universe, there's been so much trading that people are probably sitting on a ton of Solana. Now, I can draw pictures and I can talk about Solana at 1,000, but when you've made a quick buck on NFTs and you see it start to turn against you, I'm wondering if that's what creates the next leg of the correction in Solana. The bottom line is Cardano is so expensive, like Polkadot, Solana, and all these other layer 1 solutions, you know, have the ability to eventually catch up. And, you know, it's not necessarily on the chart, but I just get this creeping feeling that as all these layer 1s start pushing, that ETH is the next big move. More on that later. Okay, back to Polkadot. Luckily, I started pounding the table on Polkadot around 12. The big question is, at 40, is Polkadot fairly valued, or can Polkadot just keep going and go to 80? I don't know, Forrest, if you got any thoughts on this. I know a lot of people at 12, it was end of the world. And now at 40, people are talking 80. Do you have any thoughts either way on Polkadot?
Yeah, I think DOT is potentially very undervalued. Now, we know the market is in a precarious position in the sense that we talked about how equities, you know, could be due for a downturn. We're in September, we're in October, but we need to separate the short term from the long term. Now, I think that DOT at $40 or $35 right now in the long term is quite undervalued, right? Everybody's sitting here talking about the layer 1s, right? The battle between the layer 1s, the Cardanos versus the Ethereums versus the Solanas versus Fantom versus AVAX, right? Everyone's trying to pick the winner. But what people don't understand is there may be multiple winners, and guess who ultimately wins if there are multiple winners in these blockchains? these layer one solutions, these layer one smart contract networks need to be able to interoperate and communicate with each other and transact with each other in a secure manner. The Dots of the world, the Cosmoses of the world, right? Dot is very plug and play and easy to integrate other blockchains with, and ultimately, I believe these interoperable solutions are going to be the benefactors of multiple winners in the layer one solutions, right? What are the other winners, right? Oracle networks. Who's supplying the data to all these layer one solutions? Chainlink, right? Who's indexing the data? The Graph, right? Other oracles, API 3, they're smaller ones. Chainlink's the big one, right? That's why I love Dot and Chainlink right now at these cheaper prices, because they haven't rallied like Solana has. They haven't rallied like AVAX has, yet they're still going to benefit if AVAX and Solana and Cardano and Ethereum succeed.
Right. And with the Polkadot chart, right, there's a lot of congestion between 40 and 48. And we'll show later on, Forrest actually brought this to our attention using AVAX, that once a coin or once any of these like layer one plays get anywhere near the prior resistance from the old highs, it literally doesn't pay any attention to it and it blows right through it. That's why, even though it's Rectember, I brought up the possibility of much higher prices for Polkadot. Now, Fantom, right? So if there is no more down trade from here, Fantom it's obviously mooned. It's gone from 20 cents to $1.50. It's coming back to $1.06. Forrest, tell the audience what you were telling me before the show about Fantom and what it is.
Yeah, so I'm far from a Fantom expert, but my base level understanding of Fantom is that it's a very fast, efficient, and inexpensive smart contract network, layer one smart contract network that is EVM compatible, right? Ethereum compatible. Fantom is EVM compatible. Deploy and run your Ethereum dApps on Fantom. How convenient. How convenient that Ethereum is the #1 smart contract solution, and you can just deploy your Ethereum dApp on top of Fantom and have it run at instantaneous speeds, right? So Fantom stands to benefit from Ethereum's shortcomings, for lack of a better word, in terms of scalability, right? I think Fantom, instead of trying to kill Ethereum, Fantom is playing nice with Ethereum and is EVM compatible.
Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.